One problem that I have seen students face is in associating commas correctly. So essentially when they look at a sentence like this, now they may read that this is within double commas, or somebody may think actually this is within double commas, or this is within double commas. So everything seems to be within double commas, right? And by the way, this testified happens to be a verb here, so then they look at this and start wondering, why is this verb within double commas? And if this verb is within double commas, this is non-essential information. What is actually the verb for Richard Stallman? Okay, now this is the problem that I'm going to tackle in this video. So essentially the way to read a sentence, or to really the way to associate commas, is first of all read a sentence from left to right. Okay, so when we read in 1995 Richard Stallman, so we know that this is a different entity. This is the initial preposition phrase. So normally we Indians put a comma after this, but a lot of American literature you will see that they don't put a comma after initial preposition phrase, especially if it is a short one. Okay, so they haven't put a comma here, but this is one entity, we know that. In 1995 something happened. Okay, Richard Stallman. So now we come across a noun. So most probably it's going to be a subject, right? Then we read comma, a well-known critique of the patent system, and then we see that there are two commas enclosing it. Now it makes sense to say that this is essentially a non-essential information about Richard Stallman. So we will associate these two commas together. Okay, so now once we are over with these commas, we see testified. So we know that Richard Stallman testified. There is no comma between these two because these two commas are for this modifier. So Richard Stallman testified in patent office hearings that, so he testified in these hearings that to test the system. So we know that we are starting a that clause here. He testified something. What is that? To test the system. Now immediately we come across a comma and then we have a to test the system. So we see, yeah, this could be a non-essential information, that to test the system he did something. Okay, so this is within double commas. So that a colleague of his had managed to win something, a patent. Okay, so yeah, this is within double commas, a modifier that modifies this verb had managed to win to test the system, right? Okay, so this is again within double comma. This is the subject of the that clause, had managed is the verb, to win a patent for one of this case laws. Okay, so we are still continuing with the that clause. Then we come across a comma, an observation about. Oh, now this seems to be an information about these laws. Okay, what are these? No, actually this is an observation, so we are talking about one single thing. So this should be about one of these laws, and one of these laws is an observation about electric current. So we have a comma here because we are now presenting a modifier for this. So this is an observation about electric current, and this observation was first made in 1845, and this observation is now included in virtually every textbook of elementary physics. Okay, now the point is, this is how we read a sentence from left to right, and then as we read, we keep making sense of the sentence as well as the commas. Okay, if you don't read a sentence from left to right, if you just look at a sentence in its entirety together, then it may look like this is within double comma or many other constructions within double commas, but that's not how it is. Okay, the way to associate commas is to read from left to right and then see what's making sense. Okay, let's take another example. So we are starting an although clause here. Although Alice Walker published a number of essays, poetry collections. So once we read poetry collections and stories. So we can see these are parallel to essays, right? So number of poetry collection, number of stories. So these commas are essentially separating members of the list. Okay, so this person published a number of these things during the 1970s. Okay, so although this person published a number of these things during the 1970s, her third novel. So when we read this, we know that we are coming across a new noun which doesn't seem to fit in with the previous clause. So we see that probably we are now starting another independent clause, or actually the independent clause. Right now we just had a dependent clause before this. Okay, so this comma is separating this dependent clause from this independent clause. Okay, so this is important, right? So this is the comma, this is separating this dependent clause from this independent clause. Okay. Okay, so her third novel, so then we come across another comma, the color purple. Okay, so this is probably modifying her third novel, right? So again, from the context we see probably, yeah, this seems to be a name of the novel, so makes sense that it modifies novel. So yeah, this is within double comma, that makes sense. If you're putting a name of the novel, then you will put it within double commas. Published in 1982. Okay, so this is just modifying third novel. It's a verb ed modifier, that also makes sense. Then a comma. Okay, so we are putting published in 1982 also within commas. Okay, so we have two modifiers, one after the other, both within double commas, but these are separate modifiers for the third novel. Okay, so brought her. So brought is a verb for her third novel, right? So again, as we are reading, we are trying to figure out what is this comma doing. Now this comma cannot go with brought, which is a verb for third novel. So right, so this comma must associate with this comma. So we have two modifiers within double commas. Now of course we don't have two commas here, which is not allowed in English, right? So but it's understood that this is also within double commas and this is also within double commas. Okay, so her third novel brought her the widest acclaim. Okay, so this is the main clause, and when you are reading it, okay, if we ignore this, then there is no comma between subject and verb. Her third novel brought her the widest acclaim, comma, winning both the National Book Award. Okay, so this is just a comma verb ing at the end of a clause. So her third novel brought her the widest acclaim. How? Winning both the National Book Award and this prize. Okay, so that's how it brought her the widest acclaim. So this is the sentence. Okay, so as we read, we are figuring out what comma goes with what and what is each comma doing in the sentence. If you read it randomly, then it will look like, yeah, this is also within double commas, and her third novel is also within double commas, right? Then it will look like a mess. Then what's happening? Everything seems to be within double commas. Okay, but we have to read from left to right, and as we read, we keep understanding what each comma is doing. Okay, let's read another sentence. Originally developed for detecting air pollutants. So this seems to be a verb ed modifier for the subject. Then we come across a technique. Now comma technique. Now we know that a technique is not a modifier for something that has already appeared. For example, if we had originally developed for detecting air pollutants, comma, which cause a lot of harm. If this were the construction, in such a case, we would understand that, yeah, this comma is separating this modifier of air pollutants, right, from air pollutants. But right now we see that our technique is not really modifying anything before it. So no, we know that we are starting with the main clause now, our technique. So this is the main clause we are starting, so this should be a modifier for a technique. Okay, so a technique called this photon induced X-ray emission. So this is a verb ed modifier modifying a technique. And then we read comma, okay, which can quickly analyze. So it makes sense, technique can quickly analyze. So we have a comma which modifier. So this comma will go with which, comma which. So this is modifying technique, can quickly analyze the chemical elements in almost any substance without destroying it. So this is the entire which clause, which modifying technique. Okay, so this technique is finding uses. So now we come across a verb. So again, we don't have a comma between subject and verb. These commas are sort of enclosing certain non-essential modifiers. Okay, and then in medicine, archaeology and criminology, so these three are just members of a list, so that's why we have commas here. Okay, but the point is, again we read from left to right, and as we read we make sense of the sentence and we associate commas as we read. If you read a sentence randomly, then you may think, yeah, this is a modifier within double commas, this is also within double commas, everything seems to be within double commas. So I hope it makes sense. Let me know how it went.